kind of like a, I think people like Mike because I'm kind of a unique kind of character.
And I have
I love
You just see how games of possession is more intense, how they mean more.
I'm not putting him on.
I think the U.S. is going to all see.
Okay, we are back. Another episode of Nothing But Respect. My name is Harry Krinsky. I am joined, as always, by Patrick Redford, and we have something very special today, which is the first reoccurring segment in NBR history. Cousin Sal and Bill Simmons have been doing Guess the Lines for 17 years since they were Jimmy Kimmel or whatever at the Man Show. We have been doing Guess the Line for a few months. When a very special album comes out, if there's a album that requires us to guess what we think the Pitchfork review will be, we will do that. We did that with the MJ Lenderman album, Manning Fireworks. We both got within 0.2.
Yeah, you got that really. You were extremely accurate, but I feel like you also got sort of the tenor of the review right. It's not only what the score is, but what sort of discourse and they're trying to advance in position they're trying to stake out with it, which I feel like is sort of the spiritual goal of this segment. And unfortunately, Chuck Schumer can't join us because he canceled his book tour. We're very excited to get him to talk about this album. Do you want to intro what we're talking about here?
Yes, we are talking about the I Am Music album from Playboy Carti. I'll tell you a brief. So we are all kinds of things, but one thing, far too old to be talking about this album. You should be 17 if you are talking about this album. And
yeah, I'm 25. Harry's 23. We're fucking washed, man.
It's too old, exactly. But I'll tell you a little because I keep my ears to the Gen Z streets. I have one of the pods I work on is with this Twitch streamer that is whatever. His shit doesn't matter, but for this case, I was talking to him about the Playboy Carti album, and he told me that he stayed up all night the night before waiting for the Playboy Carti album to release and spending his time, and he said this all extremely matter-of-factly, on listening parties on various Twitch streams across the internet. So he was I was hanging out on Kai Cenat's Twitch stream, not just because he wanted to hear Kai Cenat review the album, or I don't think he even cared, but he was Kai will know first. He has Playboy Carti's phone number, and he will know the second the album's coming out. And so, if I want, he's basically the Woj of vamp rap, which is interesting to know.
That's very fascinating, and it's sort of it puts our sort of segment into the unk light that it sort of deserves, because the real the live current of the cultural zeitgeist of the way this album is metabolized is really through a streamer who has this guy's phone number reacting to it with a bunch of teens at midnight Pacific time versus this written word. It's much more staunch. It's a little slower, but I don't know. I find that very interesting, especially given that one of the discursive strains to come out sort of in the wake of this album's release is how old is too old to be listening to Playboy Carti. It's a lot of people being I understand I'm 26 and I'm not really allowed to have an opinion, but this shit slaps.
I'd say, and then it goes to the upper bound. I saw Lawrence from Throwing Fits being that same thing, except sub in the words 37. He's I know I'm 37. Well, also, it seems like Playboy Carti is wrestling with, is it too old to be Playboy Carti on this album?
Honestly, yeah, you can see that, and I sort of felt that in one of the, I forget the name, but it was one of the first 4 or 5 songs where he sounds like he's doing a Young Thug impersonation, and then the song with Thug is kind of ass, I think, a little bit, and you can just see there really is an expiration date. This is music made by and for young people, which is I think what's made rap always a very fascinating genre. I mean, again, here we go, 2 white 30-somethings talking about rap, but it is sort of interesting that as an art form, it is now sort of mature enough that everyone is that there are old people basically who have been rappers, I guess is my point.
Right.
It's gone through several postmodernism cycles, to use an annoying word.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend about about the album where I was like trying to bait him into a conversation with me about Playboy Carti, and he was like, "Rap doesn't matter anymore. We're the rock ascendancy is coming," and I will see. I mean, I generally believe everybody's music taste just codifies like when they're 22, so I don't see myself changing my thing, but I could totally see a shift back toward kind of like the stars that would be. The people who would be headlining MTV Jams or whatever, shifting back to being, rock stars.
I buy that to a certain degree. Like, look at if you look at just sort of like who the most famous rapper in the world has been over the last like 5 or so years, there's a couple notable and I think like instructive instances. Whereas like one is like the fact that Kendrick has been the biggest rapper in the world for like a year, like a decade plus after releasing his best stuff. I think that just sort of shows that like the younger up and coming crop just isn't getting that like mainstream success. The other is that Lil Baby was the best rapper in the world for a long time, and I don't really think he's that great. Yeah. But like this album in particular is so interesting because it like I think advances a lot of like there's like new shit going on here basically.
Yeah. I joked that I was like, because he was like this rap, who cares? And I was like, this is not a rap album. This is like it's closer to like a Detroit like garage techno album than it is like a rap album.
Do you ever listen to Jockstrap? They're like these experimental UK producers. Basically, it's like club kids who are like, I'm gonna make the smartest pop shit around, but then like they occasionally will make club stuff. And it kind of reminds me of that. It sounds like that a little bit, but it's more in the sense of like the ways in which it is experimental and abrasive on purpose are like deliberate and interesting.
I had the same like if there is something that I liked about this album that I also liked about Brat was that it has this sort of like manic, a plane about to lose its wheels and fall off propulsive energy. Like it has the feeling of that a crazy person is writing it in a good way. Like
which is what you want. Yeah.
Or at least it relates to like maybe how it feels to move through the world right now. So with all of that in mind, I will say, in general, we're guys talking around this, but I like the album. It sounds like you did too.
Me too. Yeah, I like it a lot. I've listened to it in the car and at the gym mostly, which I feel like is good because those are both places where bad stuff happens.
I was actually this is funny because I did have this thought where I woke up Friday morning and I was genuinely like, oh my God, I feel so bad for the like 18 to 21-year-old women who are going to go to a pregame tonight and just need to listen to this Playboy Carti album in full while their like stupid boyfriend takes half a Xanax and is like, this shit is so gas. Because like I have the wherewithal to not do that, like I'm playing this just for myself. I'm not throwing this on aux. But a 21-year-old me was being like, check out the 11th track on the Thug mixtape. This is going to turn this pregame around.
Yeah, you've aged out of scaring the hose phase.
Yeah, I thankfully have. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to set you up by asking what you think the score will be, and then what sort of thesis you think will be advanced via that score.
I think my original, if you had asked me this 3 days ago, or right when it came out, I would have said, I think it was going to go 8.6. And I thought that they were going to go like the sort of Barter 6, like this is like rap has changed, like a rap, a kind of champion of sound, crowning sound achievement.
Everyone's chasing this now, right?
Exactly. Everybody's chasing this now. I've gone down on what I think Pitchfork thinks. I think it's going to come in at like a 7.7 or a 7.8.
Wow.
And I think it's going to be, I think the thesis is going to be there's an 8.7 album, an 8.6 album in here, and the kind of like this gets into the second thing. The argument for where it falters is in its kind of lack of curation or gatekeeping. Mm-hmm. Like it's going to be like it's maximalist and fun in the way the internet is good, but it's also like kind of overly populist and refined in the way that the internet is bad. And I think that is going to be the thrust of the Pitchfork article.
An album for our times, complimentary and derogatory.
Exactly.
That's interesting because when you 7.7 to 8.6 is like less than one whole point. But on the actual Pitchfork scale where everything is like, where like a 6.1 is a pan and like 9 is totally untouchable, that's like two whole tiers down, right?
Yeah, and it basically is like this is such a funny conversation. The Drip Season 3, the Gun album got like about a 7.7, and that is like one of my favorite rap albums ever. And it's one of those things where like to me that's like a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Like if you like this genre, you will love this album.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's not going to transcend everything. And I think that's true about the Carti album broadly.
Yeah, I think. Well, first of all, what did you think Whole Lotta Red got? I just looked at the Pitchfork score.
I think it got a really good review. Is that right, or was
it was 8.3?
Okay, yeah.
Best new music. Yeah, I love that album. That album's great.
So that I struggled with. I wasn't a big. I liked some of Whole Lotta Red, but I in general I was like, wasn't for me.
I love just saying whole lot of mob shit and then the word what with like 9 syllables while I was at the climbing gym and just feeling totally out of place. But like, fuck, that album goes so hard.
No, I mean, there's things like that aplenty on this album.
Yeah.
My bitch so bad she can't even go online.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that a lot.
I don't really want to hear The Weeknd's voice like anymore, but I thought that song was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna give it. I think it'll be an 8.1.
Okay.
Best new music.
Best new music, yeah.
Because I think like we were talking about this with I guess we can say his name, Jack, not that long ago, but like there's the sort of the vanguard of Nobel's era Pitchfork is a lot of this like kind of post, I don't even know if this is the right term, post cloud rap kind of just like abrasive shit. Mm-hmm. And Carti is like this sort of North Star of a lot of these guys. And I think the album's sort of lack of focus and coherence as an album, like, you know, it is 30 songs or whatever, will sort of limit its ceiling. But I think the highs are high enough. And like the ways that it advances the art form are enough that it will cross the 8 barrier.
Okay, let's.
I don't think it's out yet though.
Oh, that's fun. Pitchfork, Playboy Carti. Typing a sentence. Many before me and after me have.
Yeah, it's not odd. Die Lit got 8.5. So
I don't think it's gonna get a better review than Die Lit.
I don't think so. No.
That is. I mean, nor do I think it's a better album. I re-listened to Die Lit because now I'm freaking vamped up, Vamp Life, crazy slag Carti mode, and that album is so good.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, okay. So we'll put a pen. We'll see. Patrick 8.2. 8.1, 8.2. I was 7.8, 7.9. We are moving on from music to our next segment of our basketball podcast, which is...
Well, we don't have a guest. We can do whatever we want today.
We can, exactly, yes. This was one for the fellas. We've been having we've been thought leaders, artists, you know, whatever. Now we're going after dark. You threw out this idea for kind of a dark bracketology episode. Talk to me, or a dark bracketology segment. Talk to me about this.
So I love March Madness for like a lot of reasons. Like I already have plans Thursday to go to the bar when it opens with my laptop and just like sit there and watch. I mean, I will probably struggle because of head injury stuff, but like we'll attempt to watch as much basketball as I can.
CTE via buzzer beater.
But something I like about it is just discovering all these like obscure regionalisms, and it just sort of shows you how big basketball can be. Like, do you remember University of Northern Iowa in like 2008 or whatever? This like little guard had all these crazy buzzer beaters. Like they beat Kansas. It was so fun. And it was just weird that like there was a directional Iowa school doing this. And I like just being exposed to like as much of the country as possible. And I think you can, this is like, I do not want to do this work, but if you look at like the teams that were successful and like the schools and parts of the country that have won over the last few years, like you could map something there. I don't know what the thesis is. And surely NIL changes all of this. And like, that is like a fascinating angle through which to watch the tournament. But I also like creating these like totally arbitrary, but like very deeply held antipathies and like loves for various and hates for various schools and teams. And so I wanted to go through the bracket this year and identify what the most evil possible Final Four would be, where, you know, I'm just looking at like the UC San Diego, Michigan first round matchup, for example, and like just considering the various evils that have emanated from both of those institutions and places. What do you think?
That's perfect. I agree with you. I mean, it's just as it's the best weekend in sports from a watching standpoint. It is so fun. It also, like, there's this very simple kind of argument for the way that kind of like capitalism and profit like robs us of something that can be articulated in the fact that the games come out every 10 minutes, so you get a bunch of buzzer beaters, and that the NBA could do that if the only thing they cared about was maximizing fun for a viewer. Every Saturday could be fourth quarter from, 7 p.m. to midnight. But they don't do that because then they're competing with each other. It just doesn't financially make sense.
Yeah.
They are able to do that, and it is euphoria. Watching like an hour and a half straight of fourth quarters is so fun.
It's so great. And like the college level, I don't know if this could work at the pros, because the thing I like about the college level is you'll get like San Diego State playing like Florida Atlantic, and it's like a busted ass 41-41 scoreline, and they're just running like the dumbest shit of all time.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, it's like Kansas Duke is like 115-117, and it's just like crazy pro stuff. And the variety of styles and like the ways in which players are and are not skilled, like vis-a-vis like team schemes and stuff, is like so fun to watch. Like it's that volume, but also like a variety that really makes it crazy for me.
No, completely. Let me give you. Oh,
yeah. What do you got?
Well, I wanted to give
you did
my
more prep work than me, unfortunately.
I did. I want to show you where I'm coming from, because Phil, let's just zoom out for a second.
Yeah,
Evil,
we should establish what evil is.
That's what I was about to say. Evil is, it can mean lots of different things. It can change over time, across cultures. Who's to say? So I want to, in a kind of show don't tell way, I wanted to give you my top 5 most evil schools, regardless of if they're in the tournament, but just to sort of set a baseline.
Perfect.
Number 1 with a bullet, Northwestern. Most evil school in the country. If there was one school I could get rid of, it would be Northwestern. The primary reasoning is, and people don't know this. Like, I feel like I'm like RFK Jr. Like, I'm like telling people that the seed oils are giving them cancer, and they're like,
You're
wow,
exposing bold truths.
Yeah, and they're like, wow, I didn't know that because of mainstream media. The entire social scene at Northwestern revolves around between 5 to 7 improv troupes. That is the God honest truth. People out there, there are like improv troupes that dictate social hierarchy, when of course what they should be are frats. we all agree that they should be frats, not improv. No, well,
that's dark. That's very, like, the frat thing is at least coherent with like how colleges sort of work.
Mm-hmm.
My sense of Northwestern, having spent a little time in Chicago, is that Northwestern is sort of like the Big Ten Ivy, and there's a real like superiority complex, but also an inferiority complex to the real deal.
I was gonna say like they're
like a petite bourgeois, like striving class anxiety in both directions.
Right. Yes, there probably is. There's no anxiety. The anxiety is bundled up 6.5 days of the week, but come Saturday morning between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m., there's like a tepid approach to a Big Ten game day. That's like, people in like purple crop tops going to a muddy frat or something. So
like my brother did his PhD at U Chicago, which is like a manifestly evil institution, but at least is like a fairly straightforward one where everyone is like, yes, we are here to like do finishing school for the elite stuff. And like, he was on the union board and he was like, we know we're negotiating with evil people, but at least there was no pretense of like, we're also sort of in conversation with like Ohio State and Michigan. Like they kind of, everyone knew what they were doing.
Right. No, it's the evil among us. They like Trojan horse, that. Okay. Number 2, more obvious one, Yale.
Yeah. Why Yale specifically?
Yeah, it's a great question because there's you could make an argument for any of them, Harvard, whatever, even like not Cornell. Sorry, Cornell.
Columbia for fairly obvious reasons right now.
Yes, Columbia. Well, certainly right now, I guess. Columbia with a bullet. is number one. Maybe with a bullet's a bad turn of phrase.
But you know what we mean.
Yeah. No, I was Princeton. Princeton is obviously very pretentious. Like whatever. But it's Yale. And it's totally anecdotally. It's totally because I met this one absolutely insane guy. Actually, there's one thing about Yale that, again, I'm exposing truths here because I'm boots on the ground with this kind of stuff. Yale is like obsessed with nudity. They do all kinds of you're getting dick out in the classroom. They have nude. This very manic gentleman who was a startup founder in the crypto space with Anthony Scaramucci. He had founded a business with Anthony Scaramucci. We're talking. He's talking so fast.
You're telling me that kind of guy has a weird relationship with nudity?
Yeah, exactly. Was saying that Yale has these nude parties where if you get aroused or attempt to get aroused, you get thrown out. So it's everybody's naked, but if you sexualize it, you're out. And I don't, that's okay. They're all that type of party is okay. I just don't.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't want it to be in a classroom. Couldn't it be?
Yeah, why does that have to be melded with any sort of institutional
It's bad
academic?
enough that there are Starbucks in the student union. I don't need fucking state-sanctioned dick contests at PS44. Or not PS44. I was trying to come up with a college hall name. Anyway, so Yale's my number 2. Number 3, Wesleyan, again, anecdotally. There are 2,000 people graduate from Wesleyan every year, and 30,000 of them go to the New York area and get on Hinge.
See,
Okay, go ahead.
That vibes with what I have heard, but I have 0 points of contact with this as a lifelong West Coaster. So you were actually the sort of correct person to ask this question to because you grew up here, went to college in the Midwest, and now live in New York. So you have a perfect index of at least the top 2/3 of America. Why do people talk about Wesleyan like that? Why are people why is there this psychic hold?
It's a great question. It might be the sort of reverse Northwestern thing you were talking about, where it's got NESCAC roots, but it is truly a pretty hippie school. So you get something there where they're really going crazy there. They got an eclectic society and all these kinds of my friend was telling me there's a guy who's in 2013, this is probably happening everywhere now, but in 2013 just selling psilocybin in the dorm,
Swag.
they're
Dolores
just
Park mode.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's that. Sorry. 2 other important things about the Wesleyan cultural supremacy is Das Racist and Mastercraft, I believe. Both. Oh, no. MGMT? Definitely Das Racist, but one other one. So they have this deep state Vice, New York cultural clout pipeline.
Okay, yeah.
That I think is important.
Recession era Brooklyn gentrifying. They're the think tank for that, basically.
Mm-hmm. They went to Wesleyan and they're like, what's that? Not knowing that it was also a $37,000 a year school.
I always got Wesleyan and Wellesley confused, but Wellesley is the women's only college.
Women's college, yeah.
Okay. See, there's this funny relationship that people in California have, and I wonder if you identified this when you were in high school. People in California have with the phenomenon of the small East Coast liberal arts school, where they think of, and I currently do sort of think of these schools as somewhat interchangeable and all the same. So then finding out from media friends that the various Ivies have this rigid hierarchy and series of very internecine but centuries defined series of rivalries with each other, I found totally fascinating, impenetrable, and off-putting. This is so interesting. Kind of not my problem.
Yeah. No, it's that's all exactly right, and they do all. It trickles down, perhaps obviously because when you move to a city like New York, you hang out with the kids you went to college with, and your social scene emanates from there.
Yeah.
So you get these and then of course ends up, if you're a social enough person, interlocking and extending. But you do have this core thing, and I think the college. I think there's a sense that you're like, I'm gonna go out into the world and not just hang out with my college friends, and most people don't, but it still has this like shadow thing where like a good chunk of people come from maybe like original conception friend group. Yeah,
you got to start somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Like finding if someone's like, "Oh, that's such a Sarah Lawrence thing to say" or whatever, I would just look at my phone. But I'm glad. Honestly, I'm glad that level of like not hierarchy, but sort of like social complexity and rivalry exists. Like I find that sort of fun and charming in an anthropological way.
I wonder if the West Coast version of that would be kind of thinking that working as a engineer at Amazon is the same thing as working in like community at Square. Yeah. You're just like every tech job is the same.
I think that would have been right like not that long ago, but I think like the sort of most recent tech contraction has sort of like hardened the borders between all that. But I think like I was talking with a friend about this yesterday. Like, do you remember Google's like "Don't be evil" era, or like "Don't do evil"? And then now it's like they're sort of correctly thought of as like part of this war machine.
Yes.
I think like pre that vibe shift, I think that would have been exactly the West Coast equivalent.
Like even just the concept of like, and I was totally fell victim or like was influenced by this. The notion that like working at Lyft meant you were sort of in some way cooler than working at Uber.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a really hilarious thing to think about that like they're just, and they made aesthetic decisions to perpetuate that, like it actually did look and feel. Right. Okay.
So that's four.
That's
evil.
three.
That's
the
three
other
evil.
two are easy. NYU, obviously, NYU is insane. Yeah. And everybody I know who had gone to NYU is either famous or a drug dealer. And then Skidmore is number 5. Skidmore is just fucked up, dude. I can't even speak on it. But like,
what happens there?
They're always like Skidmore is one of those. This is another kind of little. I think a lot of liberal arts colleges struggle with this thing, but this is one of those things where by the time, a friend group of 16 Skidmore graduates are 30, they have like all had like deep romantic sex with each other. They've like dated each other so intimately and then broken up and reconstituted. And so like 3 of them have been madly in love with the same woman and like date, like not just from afar, like fully dated that. And same with men, cross gender, like that just happens. And, this is an anti-polyamory podcast. That's anti-polyamory basketball podcast.
It's sort of like it's like a Big Thief production factory, basically.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's good, and I'm glad that we have the East Coast represented here because most of my schools that I hate are over here. So
Thiel Fellowship, Stanford.
Well, number 1 is Stanford.
Of course.
I found out from a friend they don't have a journalism school.
Awesome.
And so we've just been joking, like, every person in media sort of has to have their like post-media pivot in mind. Mm-hmm. And the joke we've been making is like, just wait till they start the Peter Thiel School of Journalism at Stanford. Mm-hmm. You're going to get $800K to just teach like how to harass like the last 3 living journalists in America. Like,
yep.
Great.
That sounds awesome.
Another one is Auburn, which is probably hateable for normal reasons, but mine is that did you ever go like to Tahoe in the mountains as a kid?
A little bit, but not much. So
when you do that, the only real city between Sacramento and Tahoe is the city called Auburn. It's like a tiny little, not tiny, it's like a foothills town. And so growing up watching like Auburn on TV and stuff, you're like, wow, like it's so cool. This small town up the road has like the number 2 football team in the country. And I didn't realize that it was in Alabama until I was like 15. And so I've like held a grudge against them for like kind of like me being stupid enough to be an Auburn fan for a while because I thought they were local.
That's really funny.
So really this says like a lot about me. Number 3 is Baylor. Baylor is an evil place.
Say more. I've never been, but I generally, I will say just the Baylor basketball program is fairly dominant, but they do always play it's like too overpowering. Like it's almost like kind of not Celtics-ish, but like it makes for kind of a boring game because they just like choke out their people. So it's impressive, but a little boring.
And they do have they have one of the coolest players. I don't know if they made the tournament. I haven't looked at the bracket yet, but VJ Edgecombe is being mocked as like the third pick. That guy is so cool. But Baylor is not. Baylor is like a manifestly evil institution. So like they're I think they're straight up evangelical, like Baptist or one of those sects or something, but also like they meld this kind of like muscular Christianity in with their sports teams who are also extremely evil. Like there was this huge Baylor Art Briles like rape scandal of many years ago. And like the fact that that program is still allowed to exist is fucked up. And I just find Texas to be, okay, if you're in Texas, just hit the 15-second bit, just a repugnant place. Horrible. Baylor's in the Dallas suburbs. Not great. So
Dallas seems to be the worst of the Texas. I've weirdly had fun in Texas, despite being like, it's a story for another time, but like arrested on the side of the road in Corpus Christi.
Oh shit!
It was insane.
That'll be the subscribers only section.
Yeah, that's a bit exactly.
Number 4, UC Berkeley, my alma mater. And they're evil in a fairly instructive way, I think, because they set themselves up in like opposition to Stanford. And they're very much like, unlike them, we're public. We're not evil. We're like for California. But really like I find their evil to be extra insidious because it is like smuggled in under the guise of like doing well, of actually being public. Because like, as we've learned during the UC strike and all these like crackdowns on protest and stuff, they really are this like mechanized, fully armed like real estate scam that like happens to teach classes. And the ways in which that is like kept from the public, I find to be insidious. So please stop texting me. I will not donate. Fuck off.
Well, and such that the kind of like ridiculous attempt by liberals to like spin California, clearly a fail state, into like a liberal victory, a la the as you can hear on the Gavin Newsom podcast. Like, I could see how UC Berkeley, which is again like a prestigious whatever good school, could perhaps cover up for like California as a state is. I think it's like 35th in education now. It's like,
let's not talk shit about California as a project. It's
enough.
great. It's great. Anyone who's never been to San Francisco and is afraid because Civic Center and 16th Street Mission Barts have like guys selling hot dogs or homeless people, just like fuck off.
That's true. Only we can talk. I can talk shit about California because I like California.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny when we do it. I mean, we say this like a minute after being like the state of Texas don't care for it, but there's not it's our podcast. It's not a comment section. Number 5, Ohio State, because I find them to be the sort of exemplar barstool school. And I find
which is ironic that because Dave Portnoy went to Michigan.
Well, see, that's the thing is like Michigan has this frisson of prestige. Like it's like a really great public school, much like Berkeley, and has the same colors. But then Ohio State is like their Wario. But like, again, have I been to Ohio? Maybe I've been to Ohio. From the outside, I just feel like its culture is the most like typical of this like homogenous, massive Midwestern. Like it feels like the spiritual home of Dave Portnoy. It's like if Dave Portnoy in a sort of Reformation analogy, they're like the Protestants where they have like mechanized and welded the like Portnoy ideology to like the highest extent.
Like if the Barstool Revolution happens, the home base will be in Columbus. Despite the kind of like the documents being written in Ann Arbor, the stronghold will be. You know, I have to. I think ultimately Michigan is a little more evil in the kind of the same way that Berkeley, like we're doing a little like we are laundering our sort of prestigious what's the fucking word? Prestigious reputation to like avoid being kind of like a rich or like I don't know, just like the same type of problems that you run into at like these other prestigious schools. Except we have cooler colors. and win more championships and have
And
a
good
fun
sports.
Yeah, and specifically have a fun basketball team, which will get us into this tournament challenge. So do you have a Final Four, or how did you go about doing it?
I have not even. I was gonna do it.
You're gonna do it live. Okay, great.
But you have gotten all the way to Sweet 16, right?
I went to Sweet 16, but let's you go through it live, and I'll tell you who I picked. See how much we
okay.
align.
Auburn versus qualifier. I already said Auburn. Easy.
Yep.
Louisville Creighton. My brother's girlfriend is from Nebraska and has grown up a Creighton fan, so I have to pick Louisville there.
Okay.
What did you do?
I picked Creighton specifically because I think it was a toss-up, 8-9 seed, but
coin flip.
Dougie McBucket's playing and being good for his dad. That's evil.
Yeah, they have a draft guy. I forget his name, but people like him. Michigan, UC San Diego. What did you do?
I had to go Michigan is more evil.
Interesting. See, I picked San Diego because San Diego is sort of a
I guess
place.
UC San Diego. I didn't think about that as San Diego.
Well, it doesn't matter because the person they're playing in the next round is the most obvious winner.
Yes,
so.
yes. Then wait, where are we? Oh, Texas A&M, Yale. I went Yale.
Yeah, Yale. That's the most obvious one here. Ole Miss or San Diego State or UNC. That's a big.
That's like a three. The fact that only one of those three schools is coming out is tough. A lot of cannibalizing. That
is
there.
tough. I think ultimately, I think Ole Miss, just for sort of like their mascot is basically a Confederate guy. I think that's like, gotta go with that. What did you do?
I also went with Ole Miss. A quick story about Ole Miss because I went to Ole Miss this year.
Oh yeah,
Mr.
Football.
I got it is evil, no doubt about it. Of course, it's like it's fucking.
But
they're like However, it's also just again like even it's also really uncanny because Missouri is an extremely poor state, but the small like 5-block Ole Miss town is like mansions everywhere. It's insane. Like the difference is one of the more stark I've ever seen, honestly.
Wow. Don't ask who lives in those mansions.
Yeah, exactly. How those houses get so big.
Okay,
but
Ole Miss.
The Ole Miss campus is just it's one of the coolest. If you kind of can like hand wave the racist history and kind of like current financial inequality of the whole thing, it's an incredible. It looks really fun to party there.
Yeah.
That being said, evil.
Yeah, I do love a college campus. Okay. Iowa State Lipscomb. I have no opinion.
Didn't care either. I was like, fuck, who cares?
Well, they're not going to beat Ole Miss anyway. Okay, yeah. Marquette. I love New Mexico. Have you been to New Mexico, the state?
Like a little bit. I've driven through.
God, it's beautiful. Marquette has to be more. I don't really have an opinion on Marquette. I've always kind of passively liked them, but got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about Marquette that I don't like is they're always having like guys who are supposed to be good in the NBA and then they're never good in the NBA.
That's true. Who's the
except for Jimmy.
Wade? Dwayne Wade is the best Marquette player.
Right.
Okay, Michigan State, obviously more evil than Bryant.
Yep.
15 seed named Bryant with a bear mascot. That's like as rootable for as any school in this bracket.
Yes.
Okay, let's finish this section out. Okay.
Yeah, we'll go through the whole thing. Yeah.
Auburn. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's Yale, right?
Yeah. I think Yale Michigan that's an exciting matchup from like an evil kind of if you're going like the petite bourgeois versus the high upper crust.
Yeah.
But yeah, Yale. I mean, Yale wins.
Yale Michigan is like you get like 5 texts from different people who like didn't know you were watching the game with like 12 minutes left, being like, "Dude, this Yale Michigan game is a banger!" Like they're going evil for evil, and like then Yale subs in like some war criminal, and it's like, oh fuck, they can bring that guy off the bench. Like this is crazy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, Yale comes out of this bracket. They're in the Elite Eight, or they're in the Final Four.
Final Four, yeah.
Let's go bottom left. Florida, Norfolk State. That feels like a Florida.
I went Florida, yeah.
Just passive SEC. Do you have any opinion on UConn or Oklahoma?
I'm going UConn because, despite I actually do kind of like how UConn plays, but I don't like they're too good. Like their program has gotten too kind of optimized, too much bullshit like that.
Yeah. I find their coach evil.
Yeah. He's got like Sith Lord vibes.
Do you remember in the offseason, maybe we talked about this on the Woj episode, but the way that like the Lakers were going to hire him?
Yes.
And Woj basically got his buddy paid by like potentially inflating how serious that was to then force UConn to give him a huge raise. That was a really fucked up, shady thing. Like one of his last acts as an ESPN reporter, honestly.
Yeah. And we'll see. Like, I wonder if that there will be some payola down the line with St. Bonaventure.
I just came up with a conspiracy theory.
Please.
And this is informed by after the Kings fired Mike Brown for like 2 weeks, no one would shake Doug Christie's hand. And then but this is while the Kings went on like a 7-game winning streak or whatever.
Like nobody, no players or no
coaches would. Like Spoelstra wouldn't. They would like not shake his hand and then go in the press conference and be like, they just did Mike dirty. But after getting their asses beat by the dumbest team of all time. And a conspiracy theory my friend floated was that they knew Brown was holding the team back and they were pissed that they wouldn't have as easy of a win anymore, which is like, I don't think true, but maybe Woj knew he was taking the St. Bonnie's gig, knew that, UConn having a down season this year, knew that Hurley was a maniac and that this would cripple UConn basketball for the foreseeable future. And he was like, he's going to alienate his players. I will clean up and get the transfers. So anytime, if anyone ever transfers from UConn to St. Bonnie's, we said it first. We were right.
They probably compete for roughly the same types of players, right?
Yeah, St. Bonnie's is like Atlantic 10. Like they're like obviously not UConn level, but like, they have ambitions. So
they're emailing the same folks.
Okay, so UConn. Yeah, I agree with UConn there. Memphis, Colorado State. My dad went to Colorado State. That's like,
Memphis. I went Memphis Eviler based on that any team that at any point had Coach Calipari gets the stink.
That's also James Wiseman. You can't you can't wash that away. Grand Canyon, Maryland. Grand Canyon is like an actual evil school. They're like
really?
They're bad. They're like they're not
Cinderella.
like a Southern New Hampshire level of fake, but like they're essentially like an online
like Academy of Arts University.
Like a diffuse for-profit like they're a fucked up evil. They basically use their like good. They have good men's and women's teams. They like use them as marketing, basically.
Got it.
Like they had a good run a couple years ago, and it's like, oh, how funny, Grand Canyon. But it's like, no, this is like Arizona Christians like doing bad stuff,
shuttling money through educational tax holes. Okay, great. Fuck Grand Canyon then. The more you know. Maryland, I like Maryland. I've always liked the Terps.
Yeah, crabs.
Yeah. Exactly.
Who did you pick between Missouri and Drake?
Went straight just name. Pick Drake.
Drake.
Funnier name.
I'm with you. We have Texas Tech against UNCW.
Yeah.
What do you think UNCW stands for?
I actually happen to know because I see it on my end.
Oh, nice.
So if you want to guess.
Is it University of North Carolina Wilmington?
That's exactly right.
Let's go. Let's go.
Uncle Wilmington.
I think you got to pick Texas Tech here.
Yeah, this is I don't care either way. None of these, But the next matchup we've got, because next one is Arkansas, Kansas again, Coach Cal, and then St. John's, Omaha, Rick Pitino.
Yeah,
and there is no doubt in my mind that Rick Pitino and Coach Calipari will be coaching in the second round against each other.
Oh, I can't wait. That's going to be so great.
And just hello darkness, my old friends, coming up. It's that. I mean, that's going to be.
Well, then
so
who do we pick is more evil? Like I find both of them sort of, especially at this point in college basketball. Like Cal had so much success. I think basically because he was able to like mechanize. He was like. Here's a theory. Coach Calipari is the Lance Armstrong of college basketball. Where like the thing that made Lance Lance was an incredible cyclist. Like he won the world championships before he had cancer. But what made him so great as a doper specifically, and this is like value neutral, I'm like broadly pro doping, but what made him so great is that he professionalized something that was essentially like a mafia operation for a long time. He like vertically integrated this. There was like shipping networks, like he coerced his teammates into doing it. And it was like a whole team wide thing. And what he represented was not so much like someone who was like cheating worse than other people, but someone who thought of it like a business. And I think Coach Cal, like, he was great in the era where you got good players by doing shady booster stuff and like buying the kid's mom a car or whatever.
Right.
And NIL neutralizes the playing field, and he no longer has a competitive advantage. And like, he's never been like, he's like fine at coaching basketball, maybe. Yeah. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But basically he was just like professionalized an illegal thing early, like Lance.
It's a great take, and it's kind of there's a lot of dichotomies that exist here with like the David Stern, Adam Silver. Like, do you want the sort of like crusty, smarmy, like gross guy, or do you want the like ruthless technocrat that will just like, whatever? It's Coach Cal slipping a guy $10,000, or it's like Dave Portnoy teaming up with Chick-fil-A to like pay our quarterback $10 million.
You get like nostalgic for like old, like the rule breakers of yore.
Yeah. Which it is. I mean, the whole, both of these people, I think, were pretty much have been moved around. Like, their reputation sort of slandered, but like short. I mean, the Rick Pitino stripper scandal was not great, but like not all as far as everything can go, not so bad compared to.
He wasn't like committing crimes.
No,
really?
He was. Yeah. They are like, I mean, I love both of them. They're both villains, too. But I like them both. Like,
yeah, and like what I like about college sports accommodates a villain in a great way. Like, totally, you can just have this, like, you can be like Coach K and run your shit like the military and exist forever and just be like, the things that make you good are the things that make people hate you, and both of those mutually reinforce each other, and it's just like, it's a great dynamic, honestly.
Yeah. Coach K has Mad Banks in North Carolina.
Okay, Florida, Yukon, Memphis, Grand Canyon. Which of those four?
Florida, Yukon, Memphis, Grand Canyon. I think it's Yukon based on the Hurley, whatever. And coming out of the other side, I think it's, if Rick Pitino wears a white suit, it will be St. John's will get the victory. If he doesn't, Arkansas will win. Let's say St. John's comes out.
I think St. John's, although we've made it clear that like this is an evil defined in an arbitrary way that we are rooting for.
Yes.
Here. Like,
this is like ethical evil.
This is literally the devil that we're like cheering on here. So I think UConn honestly should go to the Final Four.
Yeah. Representing the changing of the guards.
Mm-hmm. And then we have an all Connecticut clash, which is like, that's what everyone wants that.
Wow. Yale versus UConn in the Final Four. That would be so funny.
Okay. Going to the other side. I think Duke gets upset in the first round.
From an evil?
Oh, no, never mind. I'm getting American and Liberty confused. That always happens.
Oh, yeah. Liberty, Duke, that would be really funny. Yeah.
I think Duke does advance.
Duke advances, but then Baylor beats Duke.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to make the case. Because like Duke's evil is like passive in a way that Baylor's is like active.
Yeah, and Duke's evil, I've always, I can't muster up the vigor to hate Duke. They're like, I don't know, everybody, except people in the Raleigh Durham area is always like, fucking Duke, they suck. I'm like, dude, what's the difference? This is not my battle.
That's, I think that's like it's good to know your limits, honestly. Like, it's very easy to get passively dragged in to hating things that like other people say you should in a sports context, where it's like, oh yeah, fuck Duke or whatever. That said, I am one of these people.
You're one of those people, fair enough.
But I have a good reason, which is that my brother worked for North Carolina for 1 year when they won a title, and he like jumped over a burning couch at the parade and stuff. So, and that was great because I've like, as a lifelong Auburn fan, who had my illusions shattered when I found out they didn't just play in the foothills. I've been yearning for like a good team to root for, because Cal kind of sucks forever. So like being able to be a fair weather UNC fan has been nice. Although that said, I do like this team a lot. Like, I really like watching Cooper Flagg.
I know. So. I like Cooper Flagg. There's something to speak of that sort of like nostalgia for low stakes villainy that we're talking about. Like Cooper Flagg being a white guy from the Northeast and and going to Duke and being like a beast is awesome. I love that. It's like, I like that some things aren't changing.
Oregon Liberty. Liberty is. Are you familiar with Liberty?
No. Other than is it one of those like General Lee schools? Like
they're like a finishing school for like the new right. Basically, they are like a really evil, fucked up place.
Nice. No.
I was looking at, we used to write about them all the time at Deadspin, and I'm finding a Chris Thompson blog from 2019 where they hired a Fox Sports Florida reporter who got so racist on a Barstool podcast that like that Barstool deleted the episode, where she was just like, she clearly like understood the assignment, and she was like, oh man, you're going racist slur for slur with these guys, like I really got to bring my game. And she went too hard, and so she got fired by Fox Sports, and Barstool distanced themselves, but Liberty was there with open arms to hire her.
That is really funny. Oh my God. I cannot imagine the kind of like the video editor at Barstool Sports, the like 24-year-old video editor at Barstool Sports, like hearing that and being like, whew, taking his headphones off, being like, oh my God, we got to kick this one up the ranks. It's getting cold.
Yeah, that's like I'm at, yeah, that's some crazy shit. Arizona and Akron is our next one. I've always like passively, side-eyed the state of Arizona generally.
Yep.
So I feel like they're going to lose to Liberty anyway, but
the only case I'll make is Arizona has one of my favorite content creators out there right now, Tupapi Official.
Ooh, tell me about them.
Dude, Tupapi Official is next level.
How do you spell that first name? Or first
Tupapi.
Okay, very sick.
Yeah. I think maybe your daddy is what he's going for.
Oh, okay.
He is a sophomore at Arizona State. So not
What's the
University
difference?
of Arizona. Exactly. Sophomore at Arizona State, who interviews frat people in such an incredible, unintentionally funny kind of like earnestness that it comes all the way around and is like legitimate performance art. Like,
okay, that sounds great.
He's being like, so what are the top houses on campus? And then like a guy is just taking a set, like really thinking about it and being like, DG, Theta, and Kappa. And then Tupapi's just like, yeah, that makes sense. It's so good. It's like he's really just on some next level shit. So I really he interviewed last thing. Sorry about Tupapi Official, but this is important.
No, this is great.
He interviewed a 50-something-year-old man who runs the Instagram account for Alabama _fraternity_ counseling, which is an old man who counsels 19-year-old boys on how to get into frats at Alabama. And he's just like, he himself is just awesome. He's got really interesting insights.
This sounds great. I mostly just feel embarrassed that I, for some reason, could not figure out that it was Tupapi at first. I thought it was just one word, like Tooppy or something. So
he's operating on all kinds of different levels. So I don't,
Shout out Tupapi.
Dude, big shout out.
Arizona State's like, I sort of think of them as like one of the biggest like party frat schools. That's still correct, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's. I mean, I've learned all about it from. He just had a very insightful interview with like 3 juniors at the University of Alabama, where they revealed that one of the things they do, which I actually, again, this kind of comes around. This ends up being, I'm like, I got to start using this. Is instead of saying like they like something or they want something or they want to do something, they just say money line. So if they're like, if we were scheduling this recording, I would have been like 1 p.m. recording money line, and then you would have been like, yes. And I like that kind of thing. Any sort of new neologians emerging from the SEC is exciting for me.
Dude, that's great. He's advancing the frontiers of language, which is like the highest honor you could pay to anyone.
Exactly. Yeah, he's a poet.
Okay. Next one is really easy. BYU, VCU, BYU.
BYU, yeah.
BYU is getting what's his name? AJ DiBonsa next year.
Number one recruit. Do you know what the deal is with that? Is it
there's
is it just money
some
or is it
NIL
like,
shit. Yeah.
Okay.
He's making a shitload of money, and they have some elite. There's like an elite high school thing that DiBonsa plays for. That's like essentially a feeder into this NIL funnel, basically.
Whoa. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a strange situation. I mean, BYU has a potential lottery guy who all the drafts, like, I love draft Twitter, by the way. Mm-hmm. It's just someone posting a video of like a Belgian guy on University of Alabama, Birmingham being like, Yaxel Dickborg is a problem. And it's like him putting up, and they always do like the line break things where it's like 9 line breaks and it's like 30 points, 10 rebounds. And like they get so enthused about so many people, and you sort of forget that it's a competitive context. You're like, wow, dude, there are 75 first round picks this year, and they're all going to be starters.
Good. Yeah. And it's like 3 clips of them fluidly executing a DHO. And it's like, okay, I don't know. I think there's a few guys in the league that can do that.
It is sort of funny. The fluidly executing a DHO is like such a good point. And it is funny how like the college level has gotten better, and like the clips that people now highlight to like show a prospect, whereas like even 6 years ago, it would be like,
this is so right.
This guy did a big dunk, and now it's like, oh, they correctly rotated 3 times in the same possession, and then like had a smart dump off and transition. It's like you can just the way the game has changed, you can just see it right there.
That is so true. That all the media is all the like draft nerds are totally missing the forest for the trees, where they're like, wow, extremely, heady in defensive transition. You see how he made the decision to pick up this wing instead of going with the ball, and it's like, can he dunk or not?
Yeah, does he do cool stuff?
That's hilarious.
Okay, Wisconsin. I love Montana. It's a beautiful state. I can't pick them.
So throw Wisconsin up there.
Vanderbilt seems more evil than St. Mary's. This is just like for regional bias reasons alone. Robert Morris, that sounds like an evil institution. I don't know anything about them. I feel like they're always in the tournament.
I went Robert Morris off actually the exact same gut instinct. I was just like, something doesn't sound right about Robert Morris.
Wow, named after Robert Morris, the quote financier of the American Revolution. It's in a place called Moon Township, Pennsylvania.
I feel like sounds cool.
That sounds cool. Okay.
But Alabama, I like Alabama basketball too.
Yeah, Nate Oates, crazy guy.
Yeah.
Do you remember he was really coming up in like 2020, and he was a big like zero COVID restrictions, let us play.
Really?
Open the schools, but totally inarticulate, and sort of like he has like the manic crazy energy of like a good college basketball coach, but also like the sort of like evil crew cut clean politics of like an operator. I love him.
All right, then we'll put in an endearing evil, we'll go Alabama over Robert Morris.
I guess my point is like sort of in the way that like it's an endearing evil in Rick Pitino. It's like Nate Oates so typifies like the slick evil persona of a new college coach under this like dynamic. So you got to hand it to him.
You got to hand it to him. Yeah, exactly. And Alabama's been good for a while. They keep getting a bunch of good guys. I forgot about this guy until a second ago, but the big man on Alabama, the like slick mustachioed white guy, I both actually think he's good and kind of think he's going to have a moment in the league. I think he'll get drafted this year.
He was good. I remember him being really good last year.
Yeah, and he's just like a fun college basketball player. It's like, who the fuck is this guy?
Okay, Vanderbilt, Bama, BYU, Wisconsin.
Vanderbilt, Bama, BYU. I'm going BYU. To me, it's BYU.
Like it's BYU
in the end.
Yeah. I have BYU and Baylor, and like I'm really
BYU,
struggling.
Sorry, you're right. Yes.
Because Liberty's very evil, but they're doing it at a lower scale.
Right.
But then BYU, Baylor, I think this is propaganda working, but I think BYU getting a recruit as cool as DiBonsa and having the Russian guy in their team this year and like trying to do something. it's definitely evil, but they're winning me over. Whereas I feel like my hatred towards Baylor is more deep seated, so I feel like I have to put them in the Final Four.
And BYU's evil, at least as I interface with it, not knowing where all the bodies are buried, is more of an aesthetic evil than anything else. It's more of like,
yeah, that's true.
They're nerdy and they can't fuck, and like they had Jimmer for dad or whatever. Like
that's a really good point.
Compared to kind of covering up rape cases and stuff. There's levels to this shit, so to speak.
Yeah, and you can't really make the Mormon BYU sort of like excesses argument against a school like Baylor. So
right, exactly. It's like, yeah, these guys are. This is like a evangelical Christian university.
Okay, Houston SIEU. I love Kelvin Sampson, but I feel like a public school that is both directional and has the name of the city is like about as uneval as you can get. So I feel like they're not going to make it out of this bracket anyway. So I feel like
this is just straight balls and strikes here. Houston is officially on fraud watch for me.
Ooh, okay, make the case.
A school that I have not fucking heard of being a basketball program, being like a 1 or 2 seed for 5 or 6 years in a row. I'm like, what's going on here? Something fucked up is happening. These teams suck. They never are as good as they purport to be. They're official fraud watch.
Okay, I'm with it. I'm locked TF in. You had a Gonzaga story.
So this was where my original fraud watch comes in, because I have long been a Gonzaga doubter. This is back like when I took this was when they had the crazy Polish guy like Krasenstein, and they had Zach Collins coming off the bench. Just by being a lottery pick. And I tapped into college basketball whenever I did, a little earlier in the season probably than I'm doing now. And I'm like, this team plays in a high school gym. They are not winning the championship. Like, I don't care who Mark Few is or what Australians they import. Like, they play for 3,000 people in the like greater Washington area. They have no juice. They will never win a championship.
I like this take. The lights will necessarily be too bright.
Yes, it's always going to be too bright. The WCC is a total bullshit. I remember I had friends who were USF Dons ball boys. They were trash at basketball. That gym is small. Fucking doesn't do anything. Frankie Ferrari, he was pretty good at Reardon. Had a little cup of coffee in the G League. If he's the best player on the Dons, dude.
Oh, I remember he was on the Kings Summer League team I liked Frankie Ferrari. He was nice with it.
I mean, big shout out to Frankie Ferrari.
Big shout out Frankie Ferrari.
Come on the pod, honestly, if you're listening.
He might, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. He's like in our demo. But so I made a bet with my dear friend Isaac that year when they were undefeated, where I was like, not only this was the year they lost. Well, so hold on. Gonzaga's undefeated. I'm like, they have no juice. I at 3 a.m. drunkenly made a bet with Isaac that is. We are reinforcing that. I was like, Gonzaga will not win a championship in 25 years. They have 25 years to win a championship, and I will pay you $2,000 if they win a championship sometime in the next 25 years. That year, they lost in the championship to UNC.
Was it the Baylor one? Oh,
no,
UNC.
it was on a buzzer beater. It was insane.
Oh, man, yeah.
And I think we're like 7 years in now. And I'm feeling good. If I can just outlast Mark Few, I think I actually do have a chance at winning it.
Yeah.
But it was a bad bet at the time.
But things are trending in the right direction. Like, I feel like post Chet, they've been on a decline.
Yep.
And I mean, we did just talk about how BYU got guys, but like, I feel like with NIL, it's going to be hard to make the case that you should go to Spokane when you could go almost anywhere else.
The only chance is if like fucking Bezos starts funding. I mean, who's funding who? They got no juice. It's a school for babies. Like it's not an adult school. From a basketball perspective.
We have a bulldog on bulldog matchup here at Gonzaga, Georgia. Love when that happens.
I'm going with. Well, I guess I'm going with Gonzaga off.
Fuck Gonzaga.
Yeah,
I'll ride with you.
Thank you. Then we got Clemson, McNeese.
Clemson is evil, right?
Yeah, I guess in the way that any SEC
Well, they're not SEC. They're
ACC,
they're part of my beloved. I'm a lifelong ACC fan now. You catch me at Boston College games. Classic Cal Duke rivalry. Like I live for that shit.
Oh, right. They're in conference. I forgot.
Of
course.
McNeese is cool. Their logo is like a cowboy. I love that word.
Cool. Yeah.
They're public. They're in Louisiana. Swag. Average cost after 8 is only $10,000. Okay. What happens at High Point University? That's a sick name.
Yeah. I'm going Purdue Eviler because I've never liked Purdue. I just don't like what they've got going on. Too many.
High Point is. Do you want to guess? If you guess correctly what state High Point is in, I will Venmo you $5. They're Methodist. They're private. Their mascot is the Panthers. Their colors are purple and white. According to the Chronicle of Higher Education, this guy donated $10 million in 2010 to build some shit.
I was gonna go South Dakota. I'm changing it to Texas.
Ooh, close. North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, Purdue's more evil for sure. Illinois. Ooh, Illinois or Texas. I have a real fondness for Illinois. Somewhat inexplicable. And a real antipathy towards Texas, also equally inexplicable.
My Illinois fondness is directly related to the the David Foster Wallace 9/11 essay that takes place on IU Bloomington's campus.
I've heard enough. We're locked in.
IU's going through, and then Texas. Kevin Durant was the coolest college basketball player ever.
He was so cool in college,
but that was a long time ago. So,
yeah, when he did the horns with his like long spindly ass arm, it's like that is like how that's supposed to look. It looks so cool. Okay, Kentucky. What is happening at Kentucky now? I feel like I haven't thought about. They always have like 1 or 2 guards who pop off in the league, but they're the 3 seed, and I expect them to win exactly 1 game at this tournament.
Yeah, I have no
watched
idea
0 minutes of them.
What Coach Cal Kentucky looks like. My going down from UCLA, Utah State, Tennessee, Wofford. My evil to come out of that quadrant is UCLA.
Wow, interesting.
I just like get a real campus.
Wow, shots fired.
It's not a real. You got to walk through like foliage to get to the dorms. Like it's all fucked up over there.
That's bad. What are you talking about? That's fucking crazy. You don't. That's like why you go to school in California, so you can like, under the resplendent oaks, I can look out and see the Golden Gate, or like, I'm walking around on this beautiful campus. Like
I don't like it. I don't like.
You're such a traitor.
Too many people.
What the fuck is wrong with
people?
You?
Are like, there's all this wood. People are longboarding. It's like making that like noise. Like
so it's bad to have good chill vibes. Like
UCLA, I just they waitlisted me. That's another one. Truth comes out. No,
this is the least evil quadrant, I think, honestly.
I agree ultimately.
I think, do we just do Gonzaga for sort of pod solidarity reasons?
Yeah. Gonzaga.
I mean, they're losing to Baylor anyway.
Yes, Gonzaga. So we've got Gonzaga, Baylor, Yale, and UConn.
This is some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
I think ultimately you could make the case for UConn and Gonzaga, but ultimately it would be strained. But I think the Baylor Yale setup is basically perfect. Like all the blowback guys and like the parapolitics, like JFK people talk about this book called the Cowboy Yankee War, which is basically like in somewhere in the Cold War context, the like sort of center of where like population growth was going and a lot of money was coming from. It sort of shifted from these like old school, honestly, like personified by Yale, like, ancient American evil people to like new Sunbelt, Yahoo, oil industry, energy types, like the cowboys basically.
Right.
And so here we basically have this. We have like Yale, like this eternal evil versus Baylor, this like much more malignant, not more malignant, but like malignant in a different way and like new. So really like this is a clash of ideologies.
And can I actually even kind of continue this down, which is we have the JD Vance, Yale law school graduate, and kind of like new dark woke, sort of like the dark evil repurposed of the intellectual conservative Yankee, talking to Baylor as a representative of this sort of like Austin IDW Wild West. I know Baylor's not in Austin, but like Texas IDW Wild West, energy play. Like there's like both sides of the new right are at play here.
Yeah, it's like, and it's that's like such a good point, and the ways that they're like tied in with each other and like will amplify each other's evil is really like makes it hard to decide, honestly.
Can you imagine like isn't JD Vance like such the name of a Cinderella breakout shooter that plays for Norfolk? Like
dude, where were you when JD Vance was like going off for Southeastern Oklahoma Institute and like, dude, he beat Kansas. He was like 13 for 14 from 3, 0 for 7 from 2.
Yes,
grabbed negative rebounds somehow. Like
exactly.
This is why they play the games. Like, we can sit here and preview, the Yale Baylor matchup. Like, man, they got Art Briles' fail son coming off the bench, but like, shit, like JD Vance at power forward, like you can't deny the production.
Mm-hmm. The question is, are they going to be able to shut off JD Vance's water? is the lauded Baylor 2-3 zone that they've been calling the Big Frack? Is that going to be able to shut off?
Is George W. Bush going to be able to get open on the perimeter? Or will his father, George H.W. Bush, who plays for Yale, guard him? It's like it's a lot of good shit here.
George H.W. Bush is the new Sister Jean. They're like wheeling him in. He's like giving like, I get the point guard a Werther's sucker to suck on.
This was good. I'm glad we did
great.
this.
Great. We went way long on this, but that's okay. That I'm glad you're right. This is what we needed more than we can get back to. The good thing is the other the NBA topics we were going to hit are OKC as the Zoomer boogeyman and the Cat versus Draymond beef, which are all going to be around next week. So
yeah, and the Cat Draymond thing I think will be interesting. Let's just keep an eye on like if Draymond gets more psycho after being vindicated for calling Cat a bum for going to a funeral. Let's just see like let's track that development.
See where that goes. Yeah, and then I actually because I had an emerging take that we'll go on is like let's track because I just did I had to do some sort of specific diving into Cat media appearances recently, and here's what I'll say: a little conspiracy Harry. This year, there's been a serious PR makeover for Cat. People are not shitting on Cat anymore. I did a little kind of like non-algorithmically driven, but more keyword search on some of Cat's media appearances, and they are lame. And my question is Cat getting the Soho bump? Like, is Cat getting the thing where like you put Clandestino in Philly and it's just a dive bar, but you throw it in Chinatown and it's like the epicenter of art and thought in America. I'm wondering if just like the BMM, makes Peyton Pritchard more valuable. I am wondering if Cat is getting a sort of like Vogue Condé boost here because this what made me start thinking about this is again I was doing this and I went back into the archives of looking at Cat. Cat went on a bunch of podcasts discussing the Rudy Gobert Draymond beef. Oh. And I caught Cat reusing the same setup to the story. He was on Club Shay Shay and then he was on I think Roommates and he keeps reusing the same seemingly throwaway joke, which is he goes, what was I going to do? A triple Nelson on him? And
he just keeps saying that?
He keeps across podcast appearances invoking the bad joke. What was I gonna do? Give a triple Nelson across, and I am like, this is what happens when you get to a big market, dude. They got PR shooters that just won't let you, that will let you, get away with shit like that.
That's what a find. This is like it takes a real podcast head to find shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did your own research there.
Yeah, seriously. All right. Well, we will get more to that next week. I am Harry Krinsky. This is Patrick Redford. Across from me virtually and across from me coastally. This is nothing but respect. Thank you to the people who did rate and review. We've gotten some uptick in ratings and reviews, which has been nice. But no comments or questions. Just saying nice things, which is lovely. But we want throw a hot take in there. We'll read it. We'll engage.
Yeah, call us out.
Yeah, exactly. Call us out. Say if you went to Northwestern and you disagree that Titanic or whatever the fuck these improv troops are, weren't at the center of the social circle, then let us know.
Yeah. And enjoy the games.